Okay, I am seriously having issues with my phone, and it's really annoying me. I have never had problems with space on my phone before, like intense problems with space on my phone. So I just recorded my update, and it's not working because there was not enough space on my phone. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, so let's try it again. So, this book has taken a turn, and it's a turn that I do not like. Um, it's just weird. Everything I've listened to today, which is probably about 2 or 3 hours today, I've not really liked, not really enjoyed at all. So, I picked up this morning where with Aomami with the cult leader, and she's going to kill him. But he intrigues her, so she has a conversation with him. And she comes to realize that maybe not everything is as it seems. And as she's talking to him, she realizes that he knows that she is there to kill him. And he wants her to do it. And he's talking about how he is the speaker for the little people, and they like speak through him, and they do all these things through him, and they are evil, and there's always two sides. There's always a good side and a bad side, and he is speaking for them, and so he has become kind of like the evil side, but they can't do anything to him because he is their speaker, but he doesn't want to be, and he doesn't want to do this anymore. And his daughter Fuko is like the good side. So it goes into this whole thing, which he talks about. There's this like religious ceremony thing, like cultish ceremony that he does. Um, um, and sorry, I had something in my mouth. And it's like it's a sexual ceremony, and it was disgusting, and I'm just like, why is this even here? Like, why do we even have to like read about this, talk about this? It doesn't matter. It was very like all the stuff he was talking about went kind of into the pretentious side of it, where it made no sense. Like, very speaking, like a lot just seemed to be speaking in riddles. And I understand this whole book is like surrealism, so it's not, there's metaphor everywhere. Like, there's not going to be something that's cut and dry. But for the whole book, I've understood the metaphor and like where it was going and everything like that. And this part just kind of went into a territory that I just didn't really understand and didn't enjoy. And so he essentially says, look, kill me because I don't want to be the little people's speaker anymore. I don't want to do this. And everything. And she's like, well, you've done terrible things, and I don't want you to have like a painless death. Like, maybe I want you to suffer, and if they're going to do this and you're gonna suffer, then I might as well keep you alive. And he goes, yes, like, I can understand where you're coming from, I get it, like everything like that. But he goes, if you kill me now, then I will make sure Tango lives. And she's like, what are you even talking about? How do you even know Tango? How do you like all this stuff? And he's like, I know all the things. I can listen and I can hear things and all this stuff. His weird powers. He starts levitating a clock. It's just weird. And so he goes, you can kill me now. And I understand that it's going to be hard for you because if you kill me, they will come and find you and they will kill you. But if you give me a painless death right now, I will make sure that Tango stays alive. And Aomami's already ready to die. Like, she's already ready. She knew what she was getting into when she decided to kill this man for the Dowager. So she knows. She gets it. She understands. So she decides that she's going to give up her life to save Tango's, because she was ready to do that anyway. And now that she knows Tango is still alive and that he's okay and all of this stuff, and if she did it, he would be safe, she decides to go ahead and do it. So she kills the guy, leaves, and goes to the safe house, and they're going to send like a plastic surgeon over. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to give her a new face and a new name and everything. So that's where we left off with Aomami. And then we go to Tango's story, and Fuko-eri has come to stay with him, and she is in hiding, so she's staying there. And Tango is essentially, it's like, yeah, that's fine, stay here, don't answer the phone, don't answer the door, whatever. And so she, oh, another thing that I forgot to mention was the cult leader said Fuko-eri and Tango are together, and if they're together, then they will be fine. They will become one, and they can fight the little people, and it'll be good, and everything like that. So now Tango has no idea about any of this. He doesn't have a clue. Like, he knows that Fuko-eri was in this cult, and that this story that she wrote is actually true and not fiction, and these things happened. But other than that, he literally has no idea. So she that night does this religious ceremony that the cult leader was talking about. She does this religious ceremony on Tango, except he has no idea what's going on. He wasn't okay. Like, he didn't say, yes, let's do this, or anything like that. Like, all of his muscles are like paralyzed, and he can't move. Like, she's just doing this thing to him, and he can't move. And so I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Like, what? I mean, come on, really? And and then she finishes this thing, and then she just leaves the room and like goes to take a shower and all this stuff. And he's like, I really don't know what happened or what's going on. And since Fuko-eri like doesn't talk at all, she doesn't even tell him. And he's like, okay, whatever. Like, he's like, okay. And the next morning he just leaves. That night, like, while she was doing the ceremony, he had a vision. And it wasn't even a vision, it was a memory. He like started thinking about when he met Aomame in elementary school, and he realized then that he's always loved her, and that he just keeps thinking about her and everything. So the next day he leaves the house to go try and find her. He like wants to find information about her. And like takes him all day, and he can't find anything about her. Of course not. Like, he hasn't seen her in 20 years. So yeah, so it was just weird. And then he comes back home, and she's like, you're safe from the little people. I did a cleansing ritual on you, so you're fine. Like, we'll be okay. Nothing can hurt you, and all this stuff. So she's being very cryptic, and it's just really weird. And I just am not sure. I don't really like this part. Like, I'm not sure how you feel about it. Don't really like this part of the story right now. But I am halfway through the book. I have like 22 hours left of it. So yeah, I don't really, I guess I don't really know where it's gonna go from here. Probably someplace weird. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just not really enjoying this part. I'm like in the middle of a chapter right now, so I'll finish the chapter, and then I'll probably read some of Tess. Editing Katie here. Okay, a couple of times through these vlogs, you are going to hear me refer to a book called Tess. I read 88 pages of it. It was going to be one of the books that I read, and it just wasn't like keeping my interest. So I decided to not read it for this readathon and go on to another book. So a couple of times during this vlog, you're going to hear me refer to it, and it was harder for me to edit those little pieces out than just kind of tell you that it wasn't actually a thing. So disregard those. Or actually, I haven't read Harry Potter since Monday, so I'm actually read some Harry Potter. So we'll see what I decide. So I finished the chapter I was on, and I actually listened to another chapter. And I remembered the words that the cult leader had used when he was saying, like, there's good and evil, and there's two sides, and he's one side because he's like the voice for the little people, and then his daughter is the other side. He called it receiver and perceiver. So like, he receives the information from the little people, and she perceives them. So like, she knows where they are and what they're doing and everything like that, but they can't like affect her in any way. So yeah, just thought I would add that because I thought it was kind of interesting that way. Also, earlier when Fukueri got to Tango's house where he lived, I guess it's an apartment, I don't think it's a house. Anyway, when she got there to stay with him, one morning she's like, there's a crow that's like hanging out like on your windowsill, and he's like, oh, that crow comes every day. It's like he comes to say hi to me every day. And it was just like a random little note like dropped in there, just kept going, whatever. And this last chapter was Aomami's chapter. And she was in the kitchen at the safe house that she's staying in, and all of a sudden she looked out and there was a crow sitting on her windowsill. And the crow just like sat there and looked at her and then flew off. I'm like, man, just those little things that like Murakami is like dropping in there. You know that's the same crow. You know they're connected somehow. And the cult leader knew things about Aomame and stuff that she like didn't tell anyone, and she's like, how do you know these things? And he's like, I have eyes everywhere, and I have my messengers. And I was like, oh my gosh, the crow. It's the crow. I don't know, it could be just a random theory that I have and totally not correct, but that's what I think. So, Harry just got. Guys, I start everything with so. It happens all the time. And I need to quit. Anyway, he just got to Sirius's house, and I totally forgot how much I loved this house. It's so creepy and dark, and there's things listening everywhere, and I love it. I love it. I am really glad that I'm rereading this book because I do not remember a lot about it, so I am excited. So I'm about 100 pages into the Order of the Phoenix, and these books are definitely, like, this book definitely kind of takes a turn. It is getting a lot darker. Things are getting scarier. Voldemort is back. They don't know where he is. And no one believes he's back. So there's a lot of things kind of going on. One thing that kind of drives me crazy is Harry. Like, he's being a little turd. He's complaining so much. He's like, you guys don't understand what it's like. I didn't get any information. No one's telling me anything. And I'm the one who defeated Voldemort in the first place. I'm the one who had to do all this, that, and that, blah, 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 blah. And yes, I realized that at the end of the last book, spoilers. If you've not read Harry Potter and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening for a little bit. I realized at the end of the last book, he was there when Cedric died, and he saw it happen, and then he was tortured. Like, I get that. I get that that is a terrible experience. And I understand why he would be like, kind of like this right now, but it's really annoying. Like, all these people are trying to do stuff, and they're fighting a losing battle because there's not that many of them, and the people in charge are doing everything they can to discredit them. And so it's just really kind of annoying when Harry thinks he's the only one who has an issue and has a problem, and everyone should be like telling him things because, you know, he's the only one that's had it terrible. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Harry. I like Harry. I really like all the characters. I think this whole series is great, but my favorite characters have never been some of the normal favorite characters that other people really like. For instance, I'm not a huge Harry fan. I'm not a huge Ron fan. Like, I don't really like them that much. I really do like Hermione, though she has her things too. My favorite character is probably Lupin, and I love Sirius. Tonks, McGonagall. McGonagall is the best. I kind of like the older characters. I do love Neville. How can you not love Neville? Yeah, so just like that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of people's kind of favorite characters are the main characters. I don't like love as much. So it's just kind of interesting. So Harry is kind of driving me crazy a little bit in this book, and I'm beginning to remember that he's kind of like this, I think, the whole book, which is kind of annoying because he's being annoying. But it is late, so I have decided to stop here, and I will be listening to more of 1Q84 tomorrow, and I'm not sure if I'll read more Harry Potter or if I'll do tests, so we'll see, but I'm gonna go to bed. Good night. Okay. I did it again. So, it's getting better. I think last night I was just like at a lower point in the book. Stuff that was happening that I didn't think was necessary, didn't make sense. So yeah, it's better. I only have 15 hours left, which is crazy. I am currently in the third book now, and we've added another narrator. So, the guy who wanted to pay Tango all of that money so he could just write, he was not who he seemed, which I always thought he was super sketchy anyway. He is a private investigator, and he's been watching Tango, and he is working for the cult trying to find Aomame because she killed their cult leader. So, crazy things are happening. Tango has just realized that he is living in a world with 2 moons, and that he he's trying to find Aomame. And Fukoere said she's close by. So he goes out walking to try and find her. And he ends up in this park, and he's looking up in the sky, and he sees there's 2 moons. And then Aomame, unbeknownst to Tango, is right across the street in an apartment, and she's looking outside, and she sees this person, and she's like, who is that? She gets binoculars. She's like, oh my gosh, it's Tango. I've been trying to find him. She leaves her apartment. She goes to the bathroom first, leaves her apartment, goes down to the park, and he's already gone. So she's seen him. He did not see her. So now they seem to just be kind of missing each other. She has every night since that night has gone out to the porch, out to her balcony, and watched the park to see if he comes back. So their stories are they're getting closer and closer and closer. And it's interesting to see how they relate this way. So everything in the book book is called Air Chrysalis, by the way. I don't think I've ever said that. Do you remember when I talked about how those people, or when the Dowager's girl that she was watching, the young girl, when she fell asleep, her mouth was open, and little people came out of her mouth and were starting to build something out from the air? Well, they're taking threads from the air and weaving together a chrysalis. And it looks kind of like a cocoon. And what happens is inside the cocoon is a person. And it is that being they came out of. Well, no, not really the being they came out of, but the person, they create a person, a copy of someone in there. So like Fukueri, when she saw them coming out of the goat and they were making one, she was inside the chrysalis. Like a person, like a copy of her was inside the chrysalis. A little weird. Not a little weird. It's a lot weird, but there we go. So that's why it's called air chrysalis, because they're making a little chrysalis from the air. So Tango's father, he found his father. It wasn't a big storyline, but he found his father and he went to talk to him. And that was a little while back. And they just called. He lives in a retirement home. No, like a nursing home. He lives in a nursing home because he has some memory issues and things, and the nursing home called him and said, your father's not doing well, you should probably come and say goodbye. So he's been with his father for about a week now. He slipped into a coma and he has not woken up. So they told him, hey, talk to him, he can still hear your voice, all that stuff. So the first day he went, he goes to get something while they were doing tests on his dad, and he comes back and there is a chrysalis on his father's bed where his father was laying down. And he goes and he opens the chrysalis and Aomame's in there. Yeah. And he calls her name, and in her side of the story, she like hears it and calls his name, and he sees her say his name. So strange. But then all of a sudden it's gone and he has no idea where it is. So he is like staying with his dad to see if a chrysalis is coming. While at the same time, Aomame is going out on the balcony every night and waiting for him to show up. So they're both in like different places trying to find the other person and like waiting for them to show up. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. 15 hours left. Just essentially one book left, a little less than one book. I'm not sure how I feel about the new narrator. His side of the story is okay. It's really him trying to figure out this mystery about everything. But as you are part of the story, you know the whole mystery. So I'm not sure how I feel about his part of it. I think he's probably going to give us a little more background out of everyone, like about everyone. And then we'll kind of see, we'll see how like close he's getting to Aomame and like the Dowager and Tomato, because they're technically the people that put all this together to kill the cult leader. So we'll see how that goes and what direction it comes in. Surprisingly, I got some more mail, guys. I didn't even know it was a surprise and everything, and I got a present from my sister, and it's great. I haven't pulled it out of the box yet, but I did see this on the box. Do you see that? Dishonor on your cow. I'm so excited to see this. So it's a mug, and if you don't know, I'm obsessed with mugs. Hardcore obsessed. Oh my gosh. It's so cute. Dishonor on you, your family, your cow. Oh, it's so great. It says the same thing on the other side. Oh my gosh. This makes me so happy. Weird things are happening. I feel like I'm going to use that now all the time, but it's like goes without saying, right? This is just weird. So, Komatsu, which was Tango's who is Tango's editor, he disappeared for a little while. He said he was sick and then just kind of left. And he's back now, but he's acting weird. He's not acting really like himself, and he's more introspective, and he doesn't talk a lot. I feel like the little people keep taking the real ones, the real humans, and making new ones out of the air chrysalis, and then putting those people back into society. And I feel like they're going to take over the world. Okay, editing Katie here. I feel like I've read this book for so long that I keep spouting weirder and weirder theories, and I apologize for this. I don't know if I should take any of this out because I feel like it's just so weird, especially since now I know the ending and I don't know. So I'm sorry if you pass through like this whole vlog and like don't listen to part of it. Like I don't blame you because I feel like I'm going farther and farther and farther. So my bad. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I I think there might be something going on with Aomame because there have been just random like comments about how her breath smells. Okay, I could be reaching, but um when um the cult leader was talking about how he was like dying from the inside out and he was just like deteriorating on the inside. Um they've mentioned like Aomame has mentioned that her breath smells and it's like something's dying inside and she's had to like use a couple breath mints or whatever. And it's been mentioned twice, and I it just makes me think that maybe she has the little people in her as well, and they're kind of killing her from the inside. She doesn't really feel bad, but that could be coming. And it was interesting because of the air chrysalis um, that Tango found as well that had her in it. So I don't know. I think in some way the real people will not survive this book. I feel like they will all be turned into their clone of themselves. I think that might happen. Okay, how in the world, did I forget that Sirius is related to the Malfoys and Tonks? I like what? And the Weasleys, like down the line. How did I forget about that? Oh my gosh, my mind is blown right now. And Bellatrix. What? Oh my gosh. I can't believe I forgot this stuff. Like, I mean, how? How did I forget this? Well, I am going to end my vlog for this week. I only have 4 hours left of oh my gosh, now I just forgot 1Q84. It is 12:40 in the morning, so that's part of it. Um yeah, like I said, I have 4 hours left, so I should be able to finish it tomorrow or later today. Um I am going to spend some time with my family, but it takes an hour to drive there. So I will have 2 hours of listening time, so I will definitely be able to finish it. Harry Potter. I'm on page 125. Earlier today, of course, you saw me have those revelations that I had totally forgot about. So it's been fun to reread. He is about ready to have his hearing at the Ministry of Magic because he used magic when a Dementor tried to attack him and Dudley. So, not too far into it again. I really enjoy. I always remembered the part that they had at Sirius's house, and I always remember really liking that part. So I think it's really interesting. It's fun. There you get little snippets of information and background on certain things, but you also get to have them, trying to figure out what's going on from the Order of the Phoenix, and also like cleaning out Sirius's house, which is, I think, quite interesting and fun to read about. So I do have the audiobook of Harry Potter. It did come in from the library, so this next week I might be listening to that. I do have A Secret History by Donna Tartt. I'm not sure if I'm going to start that one. I haven't decided if I'm going to just stay with 3 books for this readathon or not. I guess it kind of just depends on how quickly I can get through these 2 books. If I start listening to Harry Potter, I should go through that quickly because I am able to listen at work. Sometimes depends on the job that I'm doing, but I am able to do that. So I guess we'll see. End of this week. I think it was a good week. I've got a good start on these 2, and my longest book is almost done. Okay. Actually, I want to finish now. So I just finished 1Q84. It is 3 a.m. I think it's 3 a.m. I no longer have my watch on. It's 3 in the morning. Okay. So, it was interesting. It was very interesting. I feel like there could have been things taken out of it, and it would have still been the same story, but maybe not, well, clearly not as long. I think you lost some things kind of in the middle. It went a little off track for a bit and then came back, and it was just kind of weird. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just crazy. Essentially, Aomame and Tango's storylines in the beginning relate not at all to each other, but towards the end it's the same story. You realize you've been listening to the same story the whole time, and at times you feel that the storylines are getting closer and closer together, but towards the end you're like, they've set this up, they've had this set up since the beginning, and it seems to be all about this religious cult and these little people that are trying to take over the world. Yeah, I could say take over the world. But in the end, a lot of people say that the end is, it kind of leaves you hanging and they don't really have resolution and stuff. But actually, I thought the ending was really good because they essentially, Aomame and Tango finally find each other, actually are together, and they leave the world of 1Q84 because they know, oh, she's pregnant, by the way. Aomame's pregnant, and it was an immaculate conception. Except when Fuko was doing the religious thing with Tango it was really getting Aomame pregnant. I know, weird, crazy, yes. But she's pregnant, and the little people want her and her baby because they know that she can be the next leader, and they have to be able to hear the little people. And so they know that the receiver and perceiver will be her and her baby. So once she gets together with Tango, she's like, we have to leave because they will not stop until they have me and the baby, and I'm not going to live like that. So she takes Tango, and they go back through the portal that she had come in before. Really, she had just hopped over a barrier from the freeway and gone underneath to get out of there. So it's not like it was a portal wooey wooey thing or whatever. Just she came through it, and she was in a new world. So her and Tango go back through it, and when they come out the other side, there is only one moon, and they realize they're excited now that they're back in the real world, and the story's done. So, I guess it can be kind of an ambiguous ending. You just kind of think that back in 1Q84, the cult members are still trying to find her, and they'll go on trying to find her, but she's no longer in that world. The Dowager and Tomato will go on living and life like that. So, yeah, I mean, it was very interesting. I'd probably give it like a 3.5, maybe 3.54 stars. There was way too much sex in it. Like, it was not needed at all. And the there was a part in the middle where it felt like it got way too pretentious, and talking over people's head, like, look at all the storylines I can put together and all this stuff, and I'm gonna really you're gonna really get lost in this next part, but just know that I'm cool and I know what's going on. It felt a little like that in the middle. He brought it back. It was fine. I'm glad I read it. I've been intrigued by it for, I don't know, a year or 2 years now. So yeah, I'm glad I read it. It was super long. Probably the longest book I've read. Maybe? It was like 1,300 pages. So, yeah, I mean, I feel very accomplished right now. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was okay. It was good. It was good. And I'm currently cleaning my kitchen, so I might turn on Harry Potter, or I might see what Secret History is like. Just kind of start it and see if I'm okay with the feel of it, and go from there.